But when you say some of Abiola children are suffering, when we wonder, there's a huge amount of money that the man has left in his will, except the will has not been executed.
Okay, so let me give you some background on that. So basically, like we did the blood test, so we had a list of qualifying children. Now, so basically, if you look at the will and you see how systematic it is, he names the wives and he apportions money to them. I would like to give you something, some information on that. So my mom was number 2 on the list. I think she was apportioned 150,000 pounds. At the time, Kola had cited the fact that my mom died before my dad died. And because of that, British law would not allow him to release the 150,000 pounds to us. And he also said that his own mom too is dead, and he didn't get the 300,000 pounds for his mother. But you're the one sharing the money, so it's kind of odd that you're sharing something and you're saying that, oh, my mom is, it just felt kind of odd. If you wanted to, you could have actually given us the money, because like at the time of my mom's passing and then daddy's eventual assassination, we were really in a bad place. Like, from the last interview we had in the United States. So it would have been useful for us to have that funds. Not to mention my mom's apartment in the UK, before we knew anything, Kola had sold it without telling my brothers or my sister anything about it. So you can see that they were systematic in trying to impoverish my mom's side of the family. And for that reason, I don't think I will be able to forgive him for what he...
For it's your blood. Forgiveness is of the Lord. If of God, and if you believe, if you're a man of faith, is it that difficult to forgive him?
Well, if you see, it's one thing, you said we are blood, which is true, and they said blood is thicker than water, and you would think that being that we were blood, certain things that I was able to find out after the fact, because I couldn't understand any of these things when I was in the United States. I was only 8 years old. We couldn't afford to buy proper shoes for school, so my sister had to take me to Payless. I didn't understand that. And then I'm finding out that we had an apartment in the UK that we could have rented and could have been bringing money for both. I'm telling you that my sister used to do braids just so we could pay for food.
That's Afsa Castello.
Kafila.
Kafila, yeah.
Afsa was doing speeches at universities at like 20, had to fly across America to do speeches at universities just to make $100, $200. If we had an apartment in the UK, we were never in the UK, so we could have easily rented that apartment out. So for you to sell the apartment, don't tell anybody about it. Don't give us the proceeds. My father had money that was assigned to my mom. It just smacks of a deliberate attempt to put somebody down. And if that's the case, then if my brother is doing that to me, then I wonder what my enemy would do.
Your father is said to be worth over $1 billion US dollars, isn't it?
I'll say way more.
Way more. This is by value of assets and what was underground at the time that he died, out of which in the will he was saying, I give the following pecuniary legacies, all free of inheritance tax and other duties leviable in any part of the world at my death, to Simbiat Atinuke Abiola, the first of the wives, the sum of 300,000 pounds. To Kudirat Abiola, the second of the wives, the sum of 150,000 pounds. To Moriamo Adebisi Abiola, the third of the wives, the sum of 100,000 pounds. To Idiat Olabisi Abiola, the fourth of the wives, the sum of 100,000 pounds. And the list go on and on and on. So you mean that all of these monies were not giving out?
No, that's how he was able to keep the charade. So he paid the wives. You have to understand that the only person he really wanted to target was the Kudirat Abiola side of the family for some reason. Like I mentioned, we're the boys in the house. If men would challenge other, like as a man, I would go out to look for something. Is it my sister that is going to fight Kola? No, it will be the boys in the house. So that's number one. So for my mom, we didn't get, but everybody else down the line, he paid out. So he gave all the wives. Now
he gave them what is specified. But for the Kudirat's children,
he cited the fact that British law states that if the person in question is deceased at the time before the time of the person who had the will, because Momsi died in 96, Momsi in 96, him in Daddy in 98, so it didn't apply to my mom basically. And then he also cited the fact that his mom too died before my dad, and his mom didn't even get the 300,000 pounds. That was his, but he paid out to all the other wives. Now, I'll tell you, I think the strategy in doing that was, if you're giving women the money, what will women do with the money? They'll take care of their children. You know, that also, at least it will give them a little bit of breather time to now, you know, do the rest. Now, the last part of the will that actually applied to me and my existence has not been addressed.
So, I mean, apart from what is accruable to your mother as a child of MKO, were you captured in the will?
So basically after the blood test, so now when it comes to the children, we did the blood test, you become a legitimate child of the late Chief Kola Abiola. What should now happen was my dad had said everything should be sold. So basically what he set up there was like a trust. So there was supposed to be an estate to manage all these properties and companies. But if, as maybe peradventure, we could not decide, then everything should be sold and shared equally amongst all my children. That was the stipulation. Now, I don't think that my dad's ambition was that we sell everything, because for someone that was a Pan-Africanist and a nationalist, he wanted us to expand on it. So the idea was the trust should oversee the total thing. Monies will be shared, you know, as I went due to the different beneficiaries, and that's what should have moved forward. So, for instance, with this situation we're talking about, Summit Oil, it should have been a situation where the estate should have been involved.
Is Summit Oil captured in the will too?
Summit Oil is one of my father's businesses.
Was it captured?
When I say, you see, the thing about every property, you see, Daddy is not, you know what I mean? Like, there was a famous interview where he stated his companies. I think that he's going around social media where he said Summit Oil, Wonder Loaf, Abiola Bookshop. Oh, Daddy's companies were there. If it wasn't his own personal company, he would say he wouldn't list it as one of his companies. So yes, it should have been. It's all in comparison.
So tell us about the contention about Summit Oil, because that I saw that you wrote a petition to the Inspector General of Police.
Yes, I did. I did write it because after there were some revelations made to me, which stated that since 2017, Summit Oil had been lifting
oil,
condensate, oil, crude, and this was an agreement that he had done with a third party, Deep One Midstream Limited. And the agreement was, and since that time, they've lifted up over 566,000 barrels of oil. And between that time span as well, $50 million has passed between the operator and Kola's and his sister Wura's hands. I wonder, where's all that money going to? That money was never declared. We never even knew that they were lifting. We wouldn't even have known of this problem if not that now my brother is now suing the operator for corruption and fraud. And I wonder who is actually doing the fraud. Is it the person who is working or is an employee of you, or you who is frauding who? You're depriving me of my own inheritance, and yet you have the gall to go and accuse somebody of fraud. So I'm a little bit worried about how he came up with the idea that, you know, that he's going to prosecute somebody else, because you yourself are doing an illegal thing. You're lifting without even telling anybody in the family. None of the beneficiaries are aware. Monies has passed between your hand and the operator's hands. You never declared any of this money. Not to mention other legacy projects, legacy companies that my dad has. The Volkswagen property, they've been selling over time, and I'm just wondering, when is the money going to be enough for them? Because if I had just $1 million, I'll be okay with my life. You've had 50 million. You couldn't see fit to share any of that money with the rest of the family.
So Kudirat Abiola and Kola Abiola are both Simbi's children.
Yes, they're both Simbi's.
Kola is the executive chairman of Summit Oil, as even recognized by the Nigerian Upstream Petroleum Regulatory Commission, and there are publications to that effect on the website. And prior to the knowledge of some of these legal issues that you were talking about, and Kudirat Abiola is listed as the managing director of Summit Oil. So aside Kudirat and Kola, there isn't any of Kudirat or any of MK Abiola's children on the board of Summit Oil.
None of us. Matter of fact, I don't even know who made them chairman and director. That's the question. You know, these things that they've done, is illegal. They put themselves as directors. Nobody made them directors. Nobody deliberated to give them that authority to do what they do.
Are you aware of how this company grew when your father died?
Okay.
Because, there are those who will claim that, but you guys were not, they built this company. Your father died, and these facilities, these properties were left, they developed it, they grew those companies.
like I think that's neither here or there. You know, growing the company or not, there are still beneficiaries to these things. You don't have. It is not yours to decide what to be done. It should be a democratic process where we all come together to know what's happening. You can't do something in the isolation of those who are meant to benefit first from it. Not to mention that if they're even going to even say that, what about the royalties that are not being paid to the Nigerian government? People are losing all around. Like, we're not paying taxes, we're not paying royalties, the community is losing, the beneficiaries of the estates are losing. So I'm just saying to myself that yes, okay, yeah, everybody can say there's something. My dad never made any of his children directors in any of his companies. So how then did you become a director? Who made you a director? Who gave you that authority? And even if you are even a director, have you declared? Did you make any? Did you make any publications? Did you send any messages to the family to let them know what was actually going on with the operations of that thing? That's why I've asked the IG to investigate this matter, to get to the bottom of where the money went to, who exactly the money was paid to, and why the money was paid to that company, and instead of paying to the family estates. We do have a family estate lawyer, and they are not aware of this. You know, this is the issue I'm facing. We're doing things the wrong way, looking for the right results. This asset we're talking about is enough for every one of the Abiola children, plus grandchildren. It is just pure greed when you know, because apparently the asset we're talking about has about 20 million barrels in there. If it's made into an OML, we can be doing at least 100,000 barrels. Only the country will stand to benefit. I don't see why we're depriving ourselves of this wealth. And you have to understand, this is now 2024. Before you know it, oil and gas will become something of the past. People are now looking for renewables. Let's try to maximize the potential of the asset now, until, or is it when it is worthless that we're going to now want to start doing this? So I just think that I am not saying that this is. I for one feel first of all like it's criminal what has been done, because like I'm telling you that what my father had put in the will is what I'm just fighting for. I'm not fighting for anything above and beyond.